Hey folks, it's Ben. I'm here with the 2002 Pontiac Grand Prix. We're going to be doing some run-of-the-mill maintenance, and what I mean by that is it's not necessarily prescribed in the service manual, but we're just going to check on things since this car is a little bit custom. First thing we're going to do, and what this video is going to cover, is how to change the thermostat. The thermostat lives right here, I believe under just those two nuts actually, and then we have a bleeder screw there off the intake hose here. My symptoms are, using my ODB2 readers tool, I'm only getting up to about 172 degrees Fahrenheit for engine temperature. So that looks good on the gauge, but really it should be around 185, 190-ish just for now. It's gonna get really cold here, so honestly I wouldn't mind having a little bit more heat to have. So first thing we're gonna do is change that. So the sneak peek of future videos, but we're doing the thermostat. So here's this one, and it's written on it that it is 192F. Okay, so that'll be a lot warmer than the 172 we're at. And then I have a gasket that I was told I'll need. It's got a couple ribs on it, maybe an edge, so we'll be aware of that when we do that. We might have an oil change, cabin oil filter, clean some sensors, stuff like that. But let's go with the thermostat right now. Let's find a ratchet and see if we can loosen this up. But before we get too crazy, I have a containment pan underneath the vehicle here. This is a Dexcool 2 car, and I don't think I've switched it over yet, so it might actually be full of, is it? Yeah, it's the fancy coolant, not the just ethylglycol, so I've got some of that on hand. Don't look at the stuff that was on the counter over there. But really, the only connection I'm breaking is gonna be the thermostat. That's really, and it's pretty high up on the motor, so we should be able to retain most of it, but my catch bin is underneath. So as I dribble all over the electronics, it'll be fine. We'll just, if I can get those bolts off without breaking them, that'll make my day. This is where you get to look at my elbows do most of the work again, I'm guessing. Let's see. We're in 10mm land here. Come on. That was nice. I didn't shear anything and it's coming out, so that one's broken and free. So we gotta get around this wiring harness a little bit and vacuum lines. I can get in there like that. There we go. This is actually, they look like they might both be nuts on studs. There we go. I don't know what's coming out, the stud or the nut off the stud. I'll tell you here in a second. So I'm free now, like it wiggles around, so that's perfect. I just got to keep backing these nuts off. Actually, this one is a bolt, it looks like. And it looks like my stud is coming out of the other one, so we'll see how that goes. But it's already broken free, so that's cool. Hopefully this will be just a take out, pop in, and be on our way. That makes for a short video and a happy me. Since this is currently my going to work rig. I think that's that. Yeah, it's wet as heck. So that's free. I will open it up here to show you what we have. Looks like we have maybe a sealant there. We got to make sure that's nice and clean. I don't know if you can see it on frame. Make sure that's clean. We have our gasket there, and this guy should pop right out. Plop. Here is our thermostat, and I can see what they mean. Let's have that drip on the sensors. Why not? Let's take a look here. What we've got is, actually my lighting's better over here. Here's our thermostat. It is also it's a 180, so that's pretty cool. We're gonna actually be running a little hotter than usual, but we didn't lose much coolant, so that's winning. So I'm gonna go put that gasket on, just like this one, and we'll put it right back in the hole. Make sure everything, actually we'll clean things first, then we'll do that. So here's our older one, a little bit better detail. There's the 180F. You can see this has got, right between the ridge there, see there's a little bit of a center bump there? That looks to be, with the fat side on the top, that looks to be what this little gasket, my bag, wants to do. So thanks for the parts guy for telling me this. So we have my old one, or this is the new one. And I can see where it just kind of fits in the hole. The thermostat itself is fairly inexpensive. This one cost me $18 Canadian, so it'd be cheaper in the States. And it's a Napa brand, so whatever. And that about the same. It's a little bit different, but not enough to worry about. It's just keeping coolant from escaping. It lets it kind of in the hole. It's got a little, it looks like it's got a little bit of a taper to it. So it fits in the hole till it stops. And that's all it's doing, it's regulating flow. And then this little beekeeper here lets a little bit of air out of the system when you're filling it. So it must go like this, that lets those bubbles up and out. And that's what that bleeder screw is on the back there, which I don't even know if it works. But before I get this thing too greasy, let's set this one aside. I'm not gonna throw it away. It's technically good if you want 170-degree stat, right? So I should put it on a box and write that on that. Probably not gonna. And then we're gonna put this one back in. But I'm gonna do a little cleaning, make sure that thing seals good, because it is my going to town rig. Well, you're not running away on me, Chief. So with that, a little bit of cleaning, put the thermostat in, the little hole facing up. And I see where this gasket around the thermostat kind of makes a seal too. So my surfaces didn't have to be crazy flat, I guess. We'll worm this back in here. I can see why that was a stud. It looks like one. It's just probably hold this little connector, but I think when I did the intake gasket on this a long time ago, I said, screw that. So, because I would have probably had to remove this to do that when we had to do the intake gasket replacement. I'll leave the link to the video right here. So now let's get these girls threaded in and tightened down. And I think we'll be good. A note of caution, I guess I'll say, is that this is aluminum in here. So I'm going to put some thread lubricant. Feeling around the hole, it doesn't appear like these are actually in the coolant, but a thread lubricant with these steel bolts and aluminum will make it a lot smoother feeling, so you don't feel like you're cross threading, because that's your one area of weakness, is if you cross thread this, that's not good news. So put some thread lubricant / anti-seize on those just to be super safe. And they should start by hand. You can get them lined up right, and then when you're free to go. That one's started. It means it's on the right path. Oh yeah, so it's good. Start the other one while we've got a little play, and then we'll just bring her down nice. The actual torque spec, I don't know. We're just gonna make it tight enough. Go from there. Nice, so everything's tightened down nice and snug. Nothing crazy. So that's cool. Let me pull us out here. Come on, zoom out. There we go. Okay, so we're good in here. Now, I'm going to change the oil in this car eventually, so we'll run it up to temperature. And at that point, I'm going to crack this little bleeder valve here, because all this is now full of air, and it doesn't really have a way to get out. I guess it could kind of go this way, but really it's going to be a big bubble here. So once we get a little pressure on the system, we'll crack that, let that air bleed out till we get liquid out again, and maybe do that once or twice just to get those bubbles out, and you should be good to go. Also, we'll keep an eye on, see if we can start getting any leakage around the edge there. And for the home viewers at home, I run a 7-pound radiator cap, not the OEM 14. Honestly, there's not a lot of reason why you need to run much of a pressurized system. So 7 just helps things not die, is really what we're looking at. It's half the pressure. It still provides that boiling protection you're looking for, but it's just a little bit less. It's a little bit nicer on older motors. So we've got that going for us as well. If you have any questions, Like I say, we're probably in at $3 for the gasket, about 18 bucks for the thermostat. Take those screws out, put those screws in. That's that, plus a little coolant. But honestly, I probably have that much coolant in my reservoir. So we'll see where she goes once we get her up and bleed her out a little bit. But that's it. So if you have any questions, ask them. Please subscribe to my channel, Turbo231, for more Grand Prix updates, including probably the next video, which will be putting the cabin air filter in. But you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Leave any questions or comments down below. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for awesome updates on what I'm doing. Please check out the next video I've got lined up for you. And also check out my Patreon page if you want to support what we're doing here. And finally, check out my other less tractory page, Red Barn Homestead. You can subscribe to that too. See some awesome stuff. And we'll see you next time.